So in this video, we're going to look at the surface area of triangular prisms. So your goal is I can determine the surface of triangular prisms. To start off with, let's review the definition of surface area. So surface area means the sum of the areas of all of the faces and the bases of the shape. And so remember that sum means adding things together. So over here I have a net of a triangular prism, and you can see that it has two triangles that are the bases, and then it has rectangles that are the faces. And then over here I have a closed figure that is also a triangular prism. So you're going to want to put this on your formula sheet here. For your image, I've given you a net because it makes it a little bit easier to understand surface area. Now what's important to know, and remember you can pause the video if you need more time, but what's important to know is that when you calculate the faces, they're not always going to be the same. So in this image here, they do look fairly equal, but when you calculate the faces, they're not always going to be the same. So it's very important to know. The formula for surface area is you're going to add up, so the sum of the areas of each side or each face and base. And then here we have an example. So for our formula, we're going to write faces plus bases. And so I always like to start with the bases first, but it's up to you because as long as you have all of them and you add them together, it's no big deal. So I'm going to start with the triangular base first. So here we have a base of 4 and a height of 3. So 4 times 3 times 0.5 is going to be 6 centimeters squared. And then the other triangle is going to be the same thing as well. Now I'm going to go ahead and work on the faces. So I'm going to do this face right here that's facing up top, this rectangle first. So it has one side of 5 centimeters and the other that's 11. So 5 times 11 is going to be 55 centimeters squared. Now I'm going to work on the face that's on the bottom. So it has one side of 11 and then one side of 4. So that's 11 times 4 is going to be 44 centimeters squared. And now I'm going to work on the rectangle that's right here that's sort of facing away from us. So that has a height of 3, and then the bottom here is going to be the same as this right here, which is 11. So 3 times 11 is going to be 33 centimeters squared. Now, in order to find the surface area, I'm going to add all of those up. So 33 plus 44 plus 55 plus 6 plus 6, and that's going to give me 144 centimeters squared. Alright, so let's take a look at some actual examples here. And again, here is your net and here is your solid figure. Alright, so example 1. So our formula is going to be area of faces plus bases. Alright, so I like to start with my bases. So here I have a base of 4, and the height of my triangle, it's not 7 because height is not slanted. The height is 5.7. So I'm going to do 4 times 5.7 times 0.5. And that's going to give me the area of this triangle here. And so that's going to be 11.4 meters squared. And this triangle is going to be the same as this triangle right here. So that's also going to be 11.4 meters squared. Now I'm going to focus on my faces, which are my rectangles. So I'm going to do the one that's closest to me, which is this big one right here. So it has a base of 8.6 and it has a height of 5.7. So 8.6 times 5.7, and that's going to give me 49.02 meters squared. And you might be wondering, am I writing these in any certain order? It doesn't matter because ultimately I'm going to add them all together. Now I'm going to work on the rectangle that it's sitting on top of, so the one on the bottom. So that has one length of 8.6, and then it has a side here of 4. So 8.6 times 4, so that's going to be 34.4 meters squared. And then I'm going to do this rectangle here that's sort of slanted, that's facing away from us. So that has this bottom length right here is the same as this right here, which is 8.6, and then times this side length here, which is 7. So 8.6 times 7, and that's going to be 60.2 meters squared. And then all that's left is to add them all up. So 60.2 plus 34.4 plus 49.02 plus 11.4 plus 11.4. And you should get 166.42 meters squared. All right, let's do example number 2. So our formula here, again, is area of faces plus bases. So again, I'm going to start with my bases because that's where I like to start, but it's up to you. So here we have a triangle with a base of 5 and a height of 2. So 5 times 2 times 0.5, and that's going to be 5 feet squared. And my triangle on the other side is going to be the same thing. Now the reason why we don't use 5.4 with our triangle is because the height is not slanted. So the height of the triangle is not slanted. Now I need to work on my faces, which are the rectangles. So I'm going to work on this one right here first. That's the most obvious one. So this has a length of 4, and then it has another side length of 5.4. So 4 times 5.4 is 21.6 feet squared. Okay? Now I'm going to work on this one back here. So this length right here is the same as this right here, which is 4. And then this length right here is the same as this right here, which is 2. So 4 times 2 is 8 feet squared. And then now I need to do the rectangle that the entire prism is sitting on. So it has one length of 4 and one length of 5. So 4 times 5 is 20 feet squared. And then all that's left is to add them up. So 20 plus 8 plus 21.6 plus 5 plus 5. And so that's going to give you 59.6 feet squared. All right, example number 3. So for this one, I've given you the closed up version of the 3D figure, and then I've given you the net. I'm going to work on the net this time. It's actually a lot easier because you can write the answers right on each panel, okay? But if you want to work with the closed figure, that's fine too. So I need to write the formula at the top. So area equals, oops, I don't have a space for it. Let's try that. So surface area equals area of faces plus bases. Okay, so I'm going to start with my bases first. All right, so here is a triangle. It has a base of 1 and it has a height of 0.9. So 1 times 0.9 times 0.5, and that's going to give me 0.45 centimeters squared. And then this triangle is going to be the same thing as well. Okay, now I'm going to focus on my rectangles. So this rectangle has a length of 1, and then this here is the same as this here, which is 2. So 1 times 2 is 2, so 2 centimeters. This here is 1 centimeter, and it has the same length as this one right here. So 1 times 2 is also 2, so 2 centimeters. And then this has a length of 1 centimeter times 2, so 1 times 2 is also 2 centimeters. Now, all I have to do is add them up. So 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 0.45 plus 0.45. And you're going to get 6.9 centimeters squared. All right, so I know that this says you try, and if you want to try it on your own, you can go ahead and mute me and check your answer, but I'm also going to talk you through it just for another example. So the surface area formula is area of faces plus bases. So I'm going to start with the base. So my rectangle has a base of 6 and a height of 5.2. Do not use this 6 as a height because it's slanted. Our height is always straight up and down in a triangle. So I'm going to do 6 times 5.2 times 0.5. And that's going to give me 15.6 centimeters squared. This triangle is the same as this triangle, so I can go ahead and copy that down again. And now I'm going to work on my rectangles all the way around. So I'm going to work with this one first, the one that's facing us. So this length right here up top is 7. And then this side length right here is 6. So 7 times 6, base times height, is 42 centimeters squared. Now the one on the bottom. So this right here is going to be the same as this right here, which is 7. And then the side length is right here, which is 6. So 7 times 6 is 42 centimeters squared. Now the rectangle that's facing away from us. So the side is going to be 6, and then this right here is the same as this right here, which is 7. So 7 times 6 again is 42 centimeters squared. So now I just need to add them up. So 42 plus 42 plus 42 plus 15.6 plus 15.6. And that's going to give me 157.2 centimeters squared. All right, next you try. So our formula is area of faces plus bases. So I'm going to start with my bases. So here I have a base of 15 and a height of 8. So 15 times 8 times 0.5 because it's our triangle, which gives me 60 meters squared. This triangle is the same as this triangle, so the other base is 60 meters squared. Now I'm going to work on my rectangular faces. So I'm going to start with the one that's slanted downward here. So this has a side of 17 meters, and it has another side of 20. So 17 times 20 is going to be 340 meters squared. Now I'm going to work on the bottom, the one that it's sitting on. So this right here again is 20, and then the side is going to be 15. So 20 times 15 is 300 meters squared. And then finally we have the rectangle along the back. So this right here is going to be the same as this right here, which is 20, and then it has a height of 8. So 20 times 8 is 160 meters squared. Now we just need to add them up. 160 plus 300 plus 340 plus 60 plus 60. And that's going to give you 920 meters squared. All right, last you try, and I've given you only a net this time. Okay, so our formula is surface area equals area of faces plus bases. So I'm going to start with my bases here. So my triangle down here has a base of 3 and a height of 4. So 3 times 4 times 0.5 is going to give me 6. So 6 centimeters squared. And these rectangles are going to match triangles are going to match each other. Now I'm going to work on my rectangles. So this rectangle has one side of 3, another of 4, so 3 times 4 is going to be 12. This one has one side of 3, and this side here is going to match this side, which is also 3. 3 times 3 is 9. This rectangle here has one side length of 5, and then this side here is going to match this here, which matches this, which matches this, which is 3. So 3 times 5 is 15. And then I'm going to go ahead and fill that all in right here. Nets are oftentimes a lot easier because you can write directly on them. So now I just need to go ahead and add them up. And when I do 15 plus 9 plus 12 plus 6 plus 6, I get 48 centimeters squared. All right, that is the end of this lesson. We will do more practice in class.